At this point in the week, you've probably heard about the submarine story. The 5 people who were trapped in a submersible that went down to explore the Titanic wreckage, 12,500 feet down. A lot of people are talking about it because these guys are running out of oxygen and they really have no idea where they are within that 12,500 feet, so they can't be rescued.
They've reported some banging noises in the last 24 hours from the area of where the submersible is set to be. But yeah, tonight around 9 p.m. our time is when the oxygen is set to have run out.
And I think it's one of those ones that plays on everyone's mind. It's like, oh my God, imagine being in that situation. That's like the worst thing you can possibly imagine, right? Well, our next guest has been in a very similar situation. Joining us now, renowned scientist, journalist and author, Dr. Michael Guillen. He was the first journalist ever to visit the wreck of the Titanic, and while he was down there, his submersible did get stuck for a bit. Good morning, Doc. We're grateful for your time today. How does it make you feel reading the news reports about the current missing sub?
Well, honestly, it makes me sick to my stomach because when I first heard about it, I thought, oh no, here we go again. And it's forced me to have to relive that hell. We're literally buried alive, if you think about it, underwater, not in the ground, but underwater in a tiny coffin-like vehicle, if you will. So yeah, I'm just sick to death and just hoping and praying that some miracle will happen, that these people can be rescued from where they are. But we're running out of time, as you say.
Yeah.
We'll get you to paint a picture of what it's like inside the submersible in just a second, but how long were you stuck for? Because I know you were stuck.
For the better part of an hour, but
Whoa.
You have to understand that, that's like an eternity.
Yeah,
I mean,
of
when
course.
you're in that situation, it's like, wow, I'm never going to get out of this. And so you can imagine, as painful as that was for me, can you imagine these 4 or 5 souls under there who've been underneath and trapped down there for days? It's just terrible. But honestly, whether it's the better part of an hour or days, it's the same terror, and it's something that I'll never forget. Ever, but this has all brought it back.
Absolutely. What was the conversation, if it wasn't even an hour that you were stuck, what was the conversation being had when you were stuck?
Well, Belle, I'll be honest with you, when we first collided with the propeller and became trapped behind its giant blades, there was just a moment of disorientation, like, what just happened? It's like being in a car wreck, where you're driving along, it's a sunny day, everything is hunky-dory, you're feeling good about life. And then all of a sudden, somebody just comes and T-bones you. And then there's that moment of what just happened? And that happened to us. It's like, okay, it was just confusing. And then when we realized very quickly that we were in a life-threatening situation, both my diving buddy and I, it's a 3-man sub, so me and the diving buddy and then the pilot in the middle, we fell silent because we realized that Victor, our pilot, former Russian MiG pilot, was on the edge of his seat now. He was fully alert. Things were going on. He was communicating with the mothership in Russian. We didn't know what he was saying, but there was an urgency. There was clearly an emergency. So we just kept quiet. We didn't want to distract him.
Oh, wow.
And I mean, you mentioned getting caught on propellers. These are literally the propellers of the Titanic, one of the most famous ship of all time. I think, Dr. Michael, because you've been in a similar situation, the question that billions of people have asked themselves this week is, what's it like inside those submersibles? Like, how, you mentioned there was only 3 in yours. How crammed is it? Is there a toilet in there? What is the sort of space like?
No, it's very crammed. It's very claustrophobic. I had to overcome that sense. I also have a deathly fear of water, so I had to overcome that. But there is no toilet, and there's only room, if you can picture this, we were on our stomachs the entire time. There are 2 benches on either side, then the cockpit in the middle. But we're on our stomach and we're looking at everything through like an 8-inch porthole. And we were told not to eat or drink anything 24 hours before our dive, precisely because there is no restroom. So you are very confined. You can barely stand up. When you stand up, your head is practically on the ceiling. So you're in that position on your stomach the entire time. And I know this ship, the Titan that's gone missing, it's got a little more room. But again, I mean, when you compare the space you normally have, like in your studio right now, it's like being confined into a closet, in my case, 2.5 miles below the surface of the ocean. So it's not for the faint of heart. Let's put it that way.
I mean, everyone's worried about the oxygen running out, which is fair. But if you're saying that also you can't have eaten the 24 hours beforehand, it could be almost a week since they've eaten as well. which is huge. Do you think, Dr. Michael, it's worth it? This whole trip, was it worth it for you?
Well, Belle, it's a good question. I did it because I was invited to do it as the first TV correspondent to go down, and so it was an assignment for me. But if I had received that invitation as a civilian, I probably wouldn't have done it, to be honest with you. I mean, it's profound. It's an experience I'll never forget. It's right up there among my experiences. I've been to the North Pole, the South Pole, but I don't think so.
Well, look, Dr. Michael, obviously you're not there searching, so you can't exactly answer this, but I am curious, as someone who's been down there and you've seen it with your own eyes, do you still hold out hope for the 5 people that are down there? Are you still, because you've seen what it's like down there, in your head, is it a lost cause, or is there still a glimmer of hope for them?
I'm an eternal optimist, so I won't give up hope until the bitter end. Tomorrow, obviously, will be D-Day. I've already got interviews lined up all day, starting 5 a.m. with Great Britain. I've got a knot in my stomach, and I won't sleep well tonight. I would like to say I won't give up hope, but honestly, Ben, Liam, and Belle, I've been through that, and I know the logistics involved in trying to extricate a vehicle that is stuck. In all probability now, they've sunk to the bottom. It's long odds, but I won't give up. I won't give up hope. There can be a miracle rescue, and I'm hoping and praying that happens.
I mean, I think that's the news that everyone's hoping to hear this morning at some point. For more information about the life and works of Dr. Michael Guillen, you can head to his website. That's michaelguillen.com. Thank you so much for your time this morning, mate. Really appreciate it.
Oh, you guys are awesome. Thank you, and God bless you. Have a great day.